All right. LDBC, LDWMMAC. This is your boy, Coach Shelton Harrison. You're live on the Coach Shelton Harrison Combat Sports Show Live. Okay, guys, so just got through watching a video by a Mr. John Boxing. And very good video, extremely good video. And, I second about 98% of what he said. I second all of that. I do believe that Claressa Shields is a victim of racial hate. And it's starting as the fight approaches. You can actually see the racism beginning to just take shape in this fight. And, this is probably one of the most defining fights of women's, boxing history. And, I do realize and I see that there are a lot of just people not really appreciating the actual fight, the magnitude of the fight itself, like how big this fight really, really is. And I don't think people understand how big this fight is. But I just think that they're turning this into a beauty contest. They're turning this into a looks versus look contest. The thing of it is, though, see, Christina Hammer, she's probably getting stuff like, well, I don't like her nose and all this other stupid stuff. But then you get people when the comments come back at Claressa Shields, I've seen, monkey, ape. She looked like a male version of Charles Martin. Like Claressa Shields, she's getting the most wicked parts of all of it, But, the racism, man, they talking about the girl nose, talking about her ape lips, and they just saying all kind of, racist stuff instead of talking about, hey, this is probably the biggest, female boxing fight. It's the most defining. This is for all the straps. This is for everything. Okay, Claressa Shields and Christina Hammer, they're putting everything on the line. They both stand to lose a lot from this fight. And I just don't think people know that. I don't think people understand that, that you have men in boxing that are not willing to put everything on the line, that are not willing to just go and put everything out there on the line. And I hate when people try to tell me this BS. Well, I don't think a person's physically afraid of the person. They're just afraid to lose. No, well, that means you're scared. Okay? Either way, you still scared. Okay? There are no more different variations of scared that you can put out there. That you can't doctor this up. Okay? These women, they're doing what many of the men they just won't do. What these men are failing to do, and that's put everything on the line. Like, go put everything you got on the line, and if you lose everything, you lose it. That's what these two are doing. And I think people are forgetting that this is what's going down. It's about race. It's about race. It's been about race, and guys, unfortunately, it's going to stay about race. When I really started watching boxing videos, before I knew who 78 was and Blood was, I would just come on to YouTube. I made my little track videos here and there. But I would just come on to YouTube and I wanted to hear boxing opinions, I just wanted to hear people talk about the sport. That's it, So it was a YouTube channel called 10 Players. I would watch them. They're pretty good about just breaking down fights. And then there were a couple of other channels that, I would follow or that I used to watch. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm looking at, I look at 10 Players. I'm like, okay, they broke this fight down good. But then you'll see some of the other channels. And I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, why can't these channels ever give a black fighter any respect, any props? And I started to notice that. I'm like, God, it's been 5 black fighters that's been fighting, that's been winning. But this channel that, I'm sitting there listening to, they can't ever give that black fighter any kind of, props. I'm like, there's something wrong with this. And so then, when I start figuring out, these people don't like black people or black fighters. They just don't like black. And so I stopped listening to those channels. I stopped listening. And then I discovered 78 Sports TV, and I discovered, Blood Boxing. And I'm like, okay, now I understand the truth. Now I understand. Okay, it's crazy. But the racial hate that Claressa Shields has been getting, it's ridiculous. First of all, okay, I understand, was she arrogant? Yeah, I think in some points, when she fought Hannah Gabriels, I thought she was arrogant. I thought she's really being arrogant. And I'm like, nah, Claressa, sister, you got caught. Hannah Gabriels caught you. And Hannah Gabriels, hey, she knocked you on that behind. That's just what it is. But, Claressa Shields began to understand. And then, her attitude changed towards that whole thing. Claressa starts saying, look, I take nothing away from Hannah Gabriel. She's a good fighter. Claressa just said, I'm a better fighter. And I got caught by a good fighter. So when Claressa started to break it down like that, okay, I understand. Okay, no problem. No problem, okay? Because Claressa acknowledged that there's some things I need to work on, so that don't happen again. Cool. I get that. And it's like people don't even want to talk about how she did get up off the canvas, how she got up. How she got up and she came back and she fought and she won. People don't want to talk about that. Okay? Nobody really talks about Christina Hammer. I'm talking about getting completely, I'm talking about put to sleep by Sophie Ann Mathis. People don't want to talk about that. But, and then have y'all noticed that when they talk about the looks, and this thing is starting to be irritating. It's starting into a whole looks contest, okay? It's starting into a looks contest. When they talk about looks, now they just talk about Christina Hammer nose, which is just stupid. They just talk about her nose. They call her a man. That's the low end of the totem pole when we talk about bad looks, okay? When they talk about Claressa Shields, they start talking about calling her a monkey, saying, she got these lips and 8 lips. And, I've seen so many horrific comments. When they go in on Claressa Shields, it gets it gets toxic. I'm talking about to a point to where it's like, okay, dang, they really going in. And then you'll see the racial comments right after that. So what is she supposed to do? What? Is she supposed to just be like, okay, no. Claressa Shields clap back, and she clapped back hard, and people don't like that she's a confident black woman. People don't like that, and that's just the reality. I see nothing wrong, with how she's conducting herself. She's, helping women's boxing get on the map, and with this fight, it's very defining. Now, what I disagree with John Boxing is he said that, I don't find Cris Cyborg attractive, and nobody talk about her looks. Well, John, I don't think you've been watching any of my videos. I really don't. And I know for a fact that you don't know a whole lot about Cris Cyborg, because if you really, really knew, then you would retract the statement, because not only has Cris Cyborg gotten a lot of hate, not only has Cris Cyborg, listen, man, she had the president of the UFC say she looked like Wanderlei Silva. Now, if you don't know who Wanderlei Silva is, he's also a mixed martial artist over in Bellator. Literally, Dana White said, look, she looked like Wanderlei Silva in a dress. Then you had Ho Rogan come out and say that if Cris Cyborg cut off her penis. Now, he said this. If she cuts off her penis, she'll make weight. Wait a minute. Now, these are high-ranking officials in the UFC saying this about Cris Cyborg. And you know what? Ever since they said that, do you know the kind of hate that Cris Cyborg been getting online? Do you know the hate, man? That Cris Cyborg been getting hate on all her social media accounts. And I'm talking about her accounts is flooded with people calling her derogatory names. Flooded. Okay? Flooded with it. Talking about her looks, man. Boy, just the other day somebody came to my channel talking about, how Cris Cyborg is some kind of male and she fighting. I had to tell the dude, well, Cris Cyborg a multimillionaire. What are you? You sitting here on YouTube commenting on channels where Cris Cyborg took a vacation to Africa. Because she can afford to do that. Cris Cyborg, on her dime, she just whipped out the checkbook. Cris in Africa. But anyway, Cris Cyborg has received extreme amounts of hate. And I'm talking about extreme amounts of, comments on her look. The reason why Claressa Shields and Cris Cyborg are so tight is because they received the same kind of hate. Let me tell you something. And it's just started for Claressa Shields. It's just started. I got death threats on this channel for defending Cris Cyborg. I got death threats. I'm talking about literally people saying that they're going to come, to where I live at. Now, we already know the rule that if you come here looking for trouble, you can't leave. You're not leaving. We can't let you leave. And I say we. Listen to what I said. We can't let you leave. We are many. And we can't let you leave. But I received loads of death threats for defending Cris Cyborg. Lots of them. Cris Cyborg done probably caught more hell than any woman in combat sports. So, John, I think, you just do research, man. Just research. Literally research, what I just said. And Cris Cyborg, man, you'll find everything. Everything. You'll see everything that I'm talking about. But it's not just Cris Cyborg. They give the hate to Claressa Shields. Claressa Shields starting to get it. They give it out. They be calling Amanda Nunes a man. It's just anything that's got melanin in it. Anything that's got any kind of color in it. You have these radical, and these not even fans. These are people that's trying to bring a racial narrative to a combat sport. And you know what? I'm going to tell you why the racial narrative don't work in a combat sport. Y'all want to know why? Because there's 2 people in there fighting. That's it. It's 2 people in there, getting down, and they banging. They getting down to fight. And it don't matter, what color you are. The color of your skin does not predetermine who wins the fight. That's the beautiful thing about combat sports. Don't matter the color of your skin. Either you know how to fight or you don't know how to fight. That's it. See, that's what it boiled down to. But you have people that, they've tried to bring the race thing into, combat sports. And true, they've gotten away with, supporting their own. And, that's fine, And you can support your own. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. That's a great thing. But it don't matter because it boils down to two things. Either you can fight or you can't fight. That's just what it is. So Cris Cyborg and Claressa Shields, they're fighting the same fight. They're fighting the exact same fight. And they have to fight that fight almost every day of their lives. Y'all know that? Do y'all know that every day Cris Cyborg wake up and she look at her social media, there's always somebody saying something derogatory about her. She got to fight the same fight. Every day that Claressa Shields get up and she clap back. I think as Claressa gets older, she's gonna engage less with trolls. And that's what it is. She's young. Claressa's a young girl, man. You got to understand, this girl 24. Okay? And, the reaction to a young person is to clap back. That's their reaction. Their reaction is to clap back at you. They don't have any kind of okay, let's just ignore that. Young people don't have that. Like, that's why I said, when you're dealing with young people and you want to fight, man, them young people, they be ready to fight. They be ready to fight. They'll get you up out of there. They are not afraid. Okay? These young people, they're not afraid to engage, and they will. And Claressa Shields, she's going to grow out of it. And she's going to start ignoring some of these people. She's just at that age, but, I don't know, man. People have a problem with that. And I agree with Claressa Shields about the whole Ronda Rousey thing. Ronda Rousey talked junk for decades. For a whole decade, Ronda was talking her junk. And I'm talking about she was talking her junk. She was saying she going to break people's arms. She was calling people DNBs, and y'all know what DNBs are. She was calling people that. Ronda was all over the place, man. Ronda was talking out the side of her mouth to people. But guess what? Nobody really wanted to check Ronda Rousey. Nobody really truly wanted to check Ronda Rousey. And guess what? Now they want to check Claressa Shields. No, that's not how it works, because we see the double standards. And I don't even like the word double standards anymore. I just use the word racism, because that's what it is. It's just what it is. Okay? And I'm going for the Queen Claressa Shields to win this fight. Okay? I'm going for the Queen Claressa Shields to win this fight. This is going to be a good fight. It is a defining moment in boxing, women's boxing history. And it needs to be observed as such. I think people need to go ahead, take the racial element out of the fight. Okay? Really take the racial element out of the fight. And let's look at what they're going for undisputed. All the belts. Remember, everybody crying about undisputed? Everybody whining about undisputed? Well, now, we're going to get that. Somebody going to get undisputed? Come on, y'all. Get your act together.